Good morning. And what do I want to talk about this morning? Well, what I want to talk about this morning is the Ataribox. And what you might be asking is the Ataribox. Well, for those of you who've been out of the loop for a little while, Atari gave us a little teaser video at E3 in which they announced a brand new console, or in fact, two brand new consoles. And these brand new consoles were to be called, or are to be called, the Ataribox. One is going to be sort of wood grain effect, and the other one's going to be red and black. But we'll get to the design in a moment. What else do we know about it? Well, not an awful lot, really. The little teaser video gave us nothing apart from a sort of slightly shadowy image of the box, and that's about all we got. Since then, though, there have been sort of more bits of information being drip-fed to us. And the other day, Atari gave us a newsletter, or at least gave a newsletter to those people who had signed up for the newsletter. And this is what the newsletter said. First look at the Ataribox design. Thanks again for signing up to learn more about the Ataribox project. We've been blown away by the feedback since the teaser release, and today we're excited to share an exclusive first look at the Ataribox design with you. Our objective is to create a new product that stays true to our heritage while appealing to both old and new fans of Atari. Inspired by classic Atari design elements, such as the iconic use of wood, ribbed lines and raised back, we are creating a smooth design with ribs that flow seamlessly all around the body of the product. A front panel that can be either wood or glass, a front-facing logo, indicator lights that glow through the material, and an array of new ports, HDMI, 4x USB, SD. I presume that means an SD card slot. You note there, though, that they don't tell us anything about CPU or GPU, or even if it might be an APU. We don't actually know much in the way of specs other than the HDMI, the USB, and the SD card slot. They then go on to say, we intend to release two editions, which I've already mentioned, a wood edition and a black-red edition. And then they also go on to say, as you can guess, those ports suggest modern internal specs. And I've already said that they don't really tell us a lot, but, whatever. It also means that while we will be delivering classic gaming content, we will also be delivering current gaming content. Now, that could mean any number of things. That could mean that they're going to be giving us new, modern AAA content. Or it could just mean that we're getting Android games ported to the system. Who knows at this stage? And then they go on to say they know that we're all hungry for more details, and that, they then give us some links to social media so we can keep up with what's going on. But that's about it, really. They don't give us anything in terms of the actual hardware. They don't tell us, as I say, what the CPU, GPU, any of that will be, whether it's going to have a hard drive or any of that stuff. I think what we'll actually be getting is something along the lines of the Nintendo Classic machines, maybe with a little bit more functionality. But as I say, we don't really know. I would be very, very surprised if this drops and we get, a big new console that's on a par with the Xbox One or the PS4. It may run emulators, it may run some low-level modern games. That's about all I think we can hope for at this stage. I'll be very surprised if the machine doesn't run on mobile tech. We're looking at something probably like the Tegra X1 from NVIDIA. I know that Atari have said that it's going to be based on PC technology, but PC technology could mean anything. PC covers a multitude of sins, if you like. I think it'll be on a par with maybe the NVIDIA Shield or the Nintendo Switch in terms of power, if we're lucky. And that wouldn't actually be so bad. At least it'll be a fairly powerful machine, but it's not going to set any benchmark records, not with that tech under the hood. And to be honest, I can't see it having anything more powerful than that. And I think it might even be a stretch for that. As for something like Jaguar cores, as I say, no, I can't see that. And Tegra X2 and Ryzen are definitely out of the picture. I can't see that Atari have the money to be able to afford something like that. Because, let's be honest, Atari were nearly bankrupt not that long ago. They actually filed for bankruptcy in 2013, and they hadn't had a profit since 1999. And they have turned it around a little bit since then, but we are still looking at a company that is a little bit cash strapped. They're not Nintendo, they're not Microsoft, and they're not Sony. And I know people say that Sony are suffering and whatnot, but in the grand scheme of things, no, Sony are quite a rich company. If this machine doesn't come out, though, with some powerful hardware under the hood, it's going to be little more than a curiosity, because if it only runs old Atari games and, a few kind of low-level modern games, it's not really going to be that exciting. But on that note, how many modern gamers actually care about Atari? If you're looking at their old games, most gamers today grew up with Nintendo or Sega. They're not old enough to remember Atari. And a lot of the younger gamers don't really remember the early days of Nintendo or Sega either. They actually don't have fond memories of Atari at all, other than what they've heard from their parents or their grandparents even. And, maybe watched videos about the landfill in America where the E.T. game, I think it was found. That's about it, really. I mean, Atari is interesting to historians and students of video games, but I'm not sure that it's part of gaming culture in a big way anymore. Certainly not, as I say, for the younger gamers. So they may have a bit of an uphill struggle on their hands trying to sell this to a large number of people. I hope not. I hope they drop it and it is something special. I hope they put out a console that really does have some decent PC tech under the hood and will compete with Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft. But is that really likely? I actually doubt it. I think, as I said before, if it has something like the Tegra X1, it might offer something like the Nvidia Shield. And I think that's probably the best we can hope for. And to be honest, that wouldn't be a bad thing, because the Nvidia Shield isn't a bad console in its own right. And as a media streamer and, offering that kind of functionality, the Nvidia Shield is a great device. So maybe Sega could go into that area as well. I really don't know. If they're going to be offering their own games, then they're going to be needing to update them and bring us something new. And they're going to need to get third parties on board as well. And I'm just not sure that they're going to be able to do that. They can't afford to develop their own games, really, as far as I can tell. And can they afford to splash the cash to bring in third parties? I'm really not sure that they can. But, maybe my cynicism's getting the better of me. Maybe Atari will surprise us with something truly mind-numbingly brilliant. Maybe they will. It would certainly be welcome. I mean, I think the gaming industry needs a little bit of a shake-up at the moment. I think Sony certainly are getting complacent. I think Microsoft are doing a little bit better because they have to. Nintendo, well, it's Nintendo. You know what you're going to get from Nintendo, and what you're going to get from Nintendo isn't what you want. Usually, it's what they want. So I do think that the gaming hardware industry certainly could do with a big shake-up. Whether Atari can offer that is open to question, and I'm quite doubtful. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm right to be sceptical? Or do you think this Ataribox is going to blow us away? Let me know in the comments, and as ever, we'll have a chat about it. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and grab myself a cup of tea and have a bit of a rest, because I've been at this one for quite some time. All right, speak to you in the next one. Bye.